Welcome to Thriving Together, the podcast that uplifts and supports women of faith on their journey to success in life and business. Join co-hosts Corine and Keira as they bring you faith-infused content and inspiring conversations that empower you to unlock your true potential.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Corine, it's a pleasure to have you. How have you been?
I'm doing good, Kira. Thank you. How are you?
Good, good. So, today we're talking about time and time management.
That is a very sensitive topic.
I know, right? So, let me ask on a basis of a scale of 1 to 10, how important is time management to you and how good are you at it?
I would say time management is 10 on 10 important.
Yeah,
Like every second count, every day count. I mean, it's just interesting to see how things can change in 24 hours. So time really
definitely.
matters. But no, at the personal level, uh, I would say right now, in this particular maybe season or time, I have maybe 5 of them. I'm
Yeah,
managing my time, but I know that it's just for this time because I just moved, so it's gonna change as time goes on.
I like that. What are some personal when are you at your best in term of time management? Like what are the conditions where you're a 10 on 10 or at least above 5?
First thing first, when my surrounding is organized, I know where everything is, then I can focus.
Hmm.
When I get straight, I've just moved, so things I have boxes all around the place. But once I have everything set up, girl, I'm on it. I'm a super organized person, so that's that makes my home, when my home is well organized, it makes my life just easier. How important is time for you? I know it is, but I want to hear it in your own words.
Yeah, I think it's very important. To be honest, my struggle is to find to strike the right balance between um being on schedule, everything like organized, and also being human and not being in robot autopilot mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I used to be very, very sharp on agenda, timetable, scheduling and everything until I
Yeah.
realized I was like in a rat race and um I felt like I had to find rhythm that honors every part of me and not just the ultra, how do I say, super productive, super, like
Mm-hmm.
on point, and also just accept that there should be pauses and that pauses are
Yeah.
actually being intentional with, like, in a holistic way, like being intentional with my time. So, yes, it's important, but not in the same pattern that it used to be before because
Yeah.
of recent time it has changed into being less of a square box and
Oh, you're perfectionist.
yeah, I am, I really am, and I struggle with that a lot. I try to accept chaos, I try to accept
Yeah.
some dirt, or else I'll really be squared, and that's not the best thing. I
Yeah.
think it is not. So
So today, how do you what would you say about what is for you to be intentional about your time? How does it practically look like?
uh from a macro
I want
level,
you to be very
yeah,
practical, Kira. I need you to be very practical.
from a macro level, I'd say um I look at my normal rhythm, um, and then I try to create space for each period of the rhythm. So in a practical manner, I'd say if I look at a week, for example, in a week I know I need to allocate time. I'm paid to allocate time to my job. that is that is not an option. I have 8 hours at work, and then the remaining of the
Mm-hmm.
time I have to find time to rest, but like quality rest. The more it goes, the more rest is of high value to me. and then I have to find time to learn something. So those are like different components of what I value and what I believe must be
Yes.
part of my rhythm and routines. So when I kind of,
Yeah.
not say I will write a list, but I kind of have that in the back of my head, and then um I check my days and see where I can add what. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, on Sundays, I will not work at all. Like, I used to take Sundays for my side hustle work, but now it's
Mm-hmm.
no way. Like, Sunday is church, eat, rest, watch movies.
Rest.
That's it. Sunday
I
is,
like
yeah,
that.
Sunday is I'm off. Nah, I'm not doing anything
Yeah,
work.
I like that.
How does it work for you? Like, what are your, if any, tips or strategies, and how?
Well, I'm gonna pick from something that you
Yeah,
said, which I think is very, very important when you talked about
yeah,
values. Like for you to be able to actually do good at time management, you need to know what are your values. You need to know what is it what is it that you want to do?
yeah,
What are the choices that you want to make? It has to be purposeful in alignment to your
yeah,
goals, even, because, when we think about, goals, smart goals, there is time management inside smart
yeah.
goals. So, all of those things are important. And if you don't know those things, if you don't have them already, how will you be able to manage your time?
That's important. I think majority of people do things the other way around, like having a daily to-do list or a daily schedule and not long-term or shorter-term goals. So they function on a day-to-day period, and I think back on what you were saying, when we function on a daily basis, it robs us of the opportunity to be more intentional and more aligned with our purpose, because we miss things out. Like when you start a day, it's easy to lose
Yeah.
focus on the bigger picture. It's easy to lose focus on whatever you think it's an assignment, a divine assignment, for example, or whatever you think it's should be priority, because I mean, life is happening in the present. So if we don't consider the
Yeah.
big picture, and we're like every day you try to write what you have to do and you check the box, you can easily get overworked and frustrated, because after a period of time you realize, okay, I've done a lot of things, but I've not done things that really matter.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
I think we've all been there, and once in a while we get in those spots as well. It's interesting to be able to incorporate core values, but how do you make that function though?
How do I make that function? Can you dive a little bit deeper in your
So
question?
how do you incorporate your core values to your daily life and make it um uh, uh like a radar or a skill to be able to properly manage your time?
Um, my values are my values are attached to my design
Mm-hmm.
purpose, which are also attached to my goals. And my goals are, I mean, I can break my goals into months, into weeks, and
Yeah.
things like that, right? So the way I incorporate it, reading Kira for me starts with my goals. It starts with my goals, really. Because when I know what I'm supposed to do, then I can carve out time. And you said something earlier is I give myself some space for, I don't know if failure is the word that I have to use, but I guess I give space for
Yeah.
chaos. Like it's not always gonna happen perfectly, and that's when acting out the grace card. Like I give
Yeah.
myself some grace. I need to give myself some grace. And I don't know if I've answered your question, but I'm not sure I answered your question. I'm not really sure. So I'm gonna let you like answer it maybe to help our listeners on that subject, on
Okay,
that question, sorry.
let's say, for example, one of my values is authenticity. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, being authentic has to be lived in and out every day. So when I'm having conversations, when I'm having life with myself, I try to be as authentic as I
Yeah.
can be. So it means I don't filter in the sense of the internet filters, right? So I don't filter my life to show beauty or whatever, but I'm just like plainly 100% me. And it means yeah, basic perfect example. At the beginning of the month, I was talking with my sister, and she's back into her gym spot and everything, and she was like, "You have to work out." Da, 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 da. I suck at following up with workouts, girl. The struggle is real. And she was like, "I can be your accountability," but I'm like, "Girl, I am going to disappoint you because I'm going to start 2 weeks and I'll be like, I'm out." So
Yeah.
I know that I have to take care of my body, right? That's mental knowledge. But to put it in action and have it part of my day-to-day life and the slots allocated in my time schedule is to maybe I will not put it every day a workout time, but I'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
this month I should at least work out like once a week. I give it a try, do something.
Yeah.
And also I try to do things that are it's me working out, but I don't feel like working out. So other things that I like, I can go on walks, I can go swimming, but being in a gym every other day is just so not me. So a calendar, an agenda of mine will rarely have gym slots on every day, plan.
Yeah.
So that's a bit how I'll add this of like not faking it. But I know also it's
Mm-hmm.
easy to fall in the comfort zone thing where you're like, but you have to stretch yourself. Coming back to the goal setting conversation and say, okay, you don't work out this way, but you can start also working out. So it's a thin line, but I think yeah, I try to to honor who I am and how I manage my time. And
Yeah.
then from there, I do once in a while I try to assess myself and be like, okay, why can you add? But I try not to add too much too early because then it's not sustainable for
Mm-hmm.
me at least. Some people can be like having super big
Yeah.
things, adding every other day and they keep it up, but I can't. I just
Yeah. So let me try to like summarize what you just said to make sure that
yeah.
I understand. Okay. Because I was trying to visualize it in my head. So we have goals. For example, you have a goal of this year, I'm gonna be healthy, but I'm not someone who actually loves working out, but I know that I
Mm,
have to, right? It's one of my goals for the year. And I goes on to have 24 hours in this day because authenticity is not value. Am I gonna add in these 24 hours
yeah.
of today, let's say Monday, am I gonna add I'm gonna work out? The truth is no, I'm not gonna take the time out of these 24 hours to say I'm gonna work out on Monday because I wanna be authentic to myself and this is a priority. But on Tuesday, because I know that in my goals for the year, I want to be healthy. I'm gonna add, on Tuesday that in these
Yeah.
24 hours I will work for maybe an hour. Is
Yeah,
that
it
what you were
is. But
saying?
to add to that, right, it's the authentic part in the time management is also that I scale gradually. Like I'll be in the first quarter, my workout time will be, let me say, maybe 30% of the time. And then when we move to the quarter two, which is now like it's less cold. I didn't see myself going out in a gym during winter. It wasn't happening. So now that the weather is
Yeah.
nicer, yeah, I can see myself signing up for a gym, and still not with the objective of going to every session every day. But I'll be like, okay, register to the gym, go twice a week, and then during summer I can scale it up you know, and eventually by the end of the year I would have gotten to a routine that is more intensive, but also that is still in alignment with me being myself. I'm not a fit girl, not yet,
hmm
anyways.
So this is all about being
Yeah.
intentional. Like I make these choices because I want to make
Mm-hmm.
those choices. It's not just like you go with the wind. It's like I'm intentional
Yeah.
about my time. My time has value, and I want to do what's right for me
Exactly.
in this
And how
season.
does being intentional with your time, how does it impact your productivity, your personal growth, and overall your well-being?
Girl, first of all, the first thing that comes to my mind is like
Ah,
no wasting time. Like I don't have time
yeah.
to waste. Be intentional, really. It and when you don't have, like when you're focused on doing what you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do in this season, it brings a
Yeah.
sense of peace, which is also attached to joy, because when I'm peaceful in my mind, there is, like this joy I can give back with more of
Yeah.
my being. I was thinking about it the other day, like for example, taking care of myself. I was like, how can I be a good mom? How can I give to my daughter if
Yeah.
myself I'm not okay? If I'm not, if I don't know, if I haven't done the things that I need to do to be good in my mind. So that's how I would say being intentional with my time helps me in my personal life.
Yeah.
And of course, with
And I
productivity,
think it's very important to not underestimate the power or the impact of personal well-being on how we do life. Because again, there is this
yeah,
hustle culture that I hate, that people just have to be grinding every day 24/7, and you're like crushing goals and everything. Some people function on that, some people thrive in that model, but to me I feel like it's not really sustainable. You have to be well,
sustainable.
or like overall well-rounded life,
Mm-hmm.
and right. So to me, I feel like the better you know yourself, the more intentional you can be with your time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can't even know yourself, like your red lines, when you're functioning on not from the overflow of you, but you're tapping in your reserves. Like if you cannot even acknowledge that, okay, now I'm kind of running on empty and I need to recharge, and you just keep going, there is no way you will sustain this on the long run with your time management. At a point, there will be a crash. At a
Yeah,
point, there will be burnout. You know how the way burnout is romanticized. So nowadays, I'm like, it's not fun to be burned out. It's not. Like you don't function. You don't
tell me
function.
about it.
People be like that. Oh, I just need coffee and I'm gonna. No, you need to find the proper rhythm, because coffee doesn't fix everything. So it also talks
Yeah.
about priority and prioritizing things. So now let's check on how
Mm-hmm.
do you think people can effectively, emphasis on that. How do you think people can effectively
Mm-hmm.
prioritize their task? Especially moms. How do you think being a mother
Yeah.
and having your life as you, Corrine, but your life also people's mom, how do you think um
Mm-hmm.
you can prioritize it effectively in a way that again aligns with what makes sense to you?
Okay, being a mom, I always say it's kind of broad. And what I mean by that is
Yeah.
there are different types of mom. There are stay-at-home moms like me. You
Yeah.
have moms that go to work like others. There are moms that don't have partners and they're single moms. And of course, the answer is going to be
Mm-hmm.
specific to each of them. But if I have to talk about myself, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I'm also an entrepreneur. I have my stuff, my projects going on, my business and everything. And how do I prioritize my task is really about what's what is the biggest
Yeah.
impact. My family comes first. Like when I do something, I'm like, what's gonna impact my family
Yeah.
today and
Oh, I like
years to
that.
come? That's what I put the
Mm-hmm.
priority on. If I have to stop doing something, like I remember this time, Kira. when Caleb, my son, who passed away, when I decided that after a session with you, actually, that okay, you know what, I'm gonna do it here. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was a stay at home mom. Caleb was with me, but at that time, I said, you know what, Caleb, you're gonna go to daycare because mommy needs time to study, you know. And it was a stretch financially because we
Mm-hmm.
initially did not plan it, but because I was like, okay, I'm seeing in the long run, like I think I
Yeah.
actually mentioned it inside my book, guys. I want my son to be proud of me. I want him to brag that my mom did it, you know. So to make that priority, to
Mm-hmm.
prioritize that time for study, I had to, you know, I sent the child to daycare. So that's pretty much what I do to be I don't know,
Yeah.
be intentional about my time as a mom. You know, I want to do what matters for my family
I
in the
like
moment
that
and in the
the bigger
future.
picture or the long-term vision of your family is also what drives your prioritization. It's completely different for someone who doesn't have her family like me, who doesn't have a family of her own. The priorities or the prioritize yet. Thank you.
Yet,
Thank you.
please.
But yeah, the priorities are completely different. I can get up and I can get up, like I don't need to consider a lot of contingencies around me before making a decision. But I also know that um because of the family I want to have, I invest in the future, for example, in assets acquisition. I know I want my legacy to be that of someone who's helped her own. I don't want to bring kids in the earth and, have them struggle. Of course, I don't control the outcomes, right? I can put everything together and still have kids who will struggle financially. It's not like a guarantee that whatever investment I make now will
Yeah,
guarantee that they will be far from it. But also, I know that I rather have those investments going so that by the time I have kids, there are some assets
yeah,
around. By the time I get a husband, there are some assets around for my family. So that becomes a priority in the sense of, okay, even when I'm making a move now,
mm-hmm.
it's definitely not to consume it now, but I know I still have to make time. For example, if I know
Yeah,
I need an education, I really think differently. So I remember story time when I had my second master's degree. My one aunt, she was at the defense ceremony, the graduation, the defense actually of the master's thesis. And when everybody was coming after and congratulated, oh, well done, da, 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 she was like, I hope now you will stop this school thing and get married because you will scare men away. So the fun thing is, when the jury announced my grade, right, they were like, yeah, excellent, da, da, with a strong recommendation to go for a PhD program. And that was the end of the defense. So when she heard that, I'm pretty sure it made like error in her head, like, hell no, she's not going for any PhD before she's married. And she came to me straight up right after we took the picture and everything. And she just kissed me and she's like, I hope there is no PhD on the line because you have to get married. You will scare men away with all these degrees, know? And
this
listen, and
me
days after I
crying.
was thinking about it, and I'm like, does that? I know she meant good. It's not like she meant bad. I know she meant good. But it also placed a bias in my
Yeah,
head with, oh, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I shouldn't, maybe it's wisdom and she's not dumb. But then again, years passed
mm-hmm.
and I still didn't get married. So I might as well just had done like, so whatever investment or things
Mm-hmm.
that should be priority, although it should consider other people, it should also consider what is best for you and how it can serve. So that's also how you make the
Yes,
priorities and remove things. So to my single ladies, please don't limit your life
yeah,
in a waiting period where you don't move because you're not trying to scare men away or you're trying to attract this type of person. Because regardless of whether you engage or not, time will pass. So as the Bible say, redeem time. Yeah,
No,
that I will leave it at that. Let's redeem time. Let's redeem time.
I like that.
So as we're coming to like kind of ending this thing, how do you maintain your focus and stay
Yeah.
committed to intentional, purposeful time management in 2024? Like how do you do that?
It's hard. Honestly, it's hard to actually do it with all
Mm.
the, with all the distraction around, you know. The one thing that helps me remain
Yeah,
focused is going back to my goals, like having my goals and like, okay, this is what we said we're going to do this year, you know. Also, I've also come to realize that one thing that um makes me go off track is when I'm not really connected to the Lord. And what I mean by connected to the Lord is when I
mm-hmm.
spend some days not reading my Bible, I feel empty, I feel demotivated because at the end of the day, like I said, we talked about it in one of our
Yeah,
episodes already. My goal started with God. God wrote these goals with me. So if I don't stay in His presence, if I don't read my Bible, how will I be able to actually tackle those
yeah,
goals, like those things that He has asked me to do, you know? So that's how I personally try to keep myself,
mm-hmm.
like intentional and focused about my time.
Yeah,
It's not always easy. It's very difficult, Kira. I'm not even gonna lie, it is very difficult, but the part about reminding yourself that you have to be
yeah,
intentional and having it in front of me is what makes a difference for me. That's what I love I love the end of the month, beginning of the
yeah,
month because I'm going back into my goals. I have my spreadsheet that I go back to. I'm like, okay, you did this, you didn't do that. How can we fix it for the next month? When I don't do that,
yeah.
when I don't have that session, Kira, I'm like, I feel
Which is
like my
true.
month is not gonna go on smoothly.
Yeah, it's true. Not
So
true to the
that's what
fact
I do.
that yeah, your month will not go smoothly because you didn't check your goals, but like mentally, anyway, for me, and I think it echoes to what you were saying. Yeah, I need that checkup, that review session where I'm still sure, okay, we're on track or we're not on track. And definitely, one thing that is important is my relationship with God because, bruh, nothing makes sense out of it. Like,
So,
because then I'll feel like, what is your pursuit? What are you doing what you're doing? If the person you say you're doing it for,
yeah.
you're not even talking with the person, like, it's like, make it make sense, make it make sense. And one other thing to me that helps, especially because strange enough, I think it's human nature, but I became really conscious of it lately. I have this tendency of running away from God rather than running to God. And so I always have to keep myself in check as in
Mm,
what's the direction? Are you running away from God or are you running to God? And it goes to deeper things like my view of God in at the
mm,
subconscious level. Why do I really believe God is to me? Not the mental knowledge, of God is good, God is my father. But
mm,
honestly, yeah, once I've noticed that, like I said recently, so I know that things that keep me in check are being in the right circles. For me, it is priority to watch my
mm-hmm.
environment. There is no way I can stay focused out
Yeah,
of the right environment because for me distraction is very easy. Movie night, that's it.
sure.
That's it. Like you just back to back to back movies, and I'm like, why? It's like a numbing feeling at that moment. You're in the movie, you don't care about what
Mm,
happens in the world. Like, people are dying, your goals are not being met. I don't care, I'm watching a movie. It's crazy. It sounds crazy, but it's like it's a numbing effect. So
mm-hmm.
one thing that I do is that I make sure that at least for every quarter I know the circles in which I will find myself. So it can be virtual communities, it can be physical meetups, but having that I mean, if I know that I have a prayer call, or I know I have an accountability call, or, you know, whether you like it or not, it will keep you going. But if I go
Yeah.
without all that environment, or for example, for example, things I do every year is that I try to go for a training or a course or a conference abroad. It's kind of systematic. So if I notice it's already half of the year and I haven't had any
Yeah.
positive like response to, I mean, maybe an application or something, and I see, for example, the next 6 months, there's nothing clear coming up, I'm definitely looking for something online, because there is no way um I'm not nurturing myself, you know. So that's how I also try to maintain my focus, is that I surround myself with all the nourishment, mental, emotional, spiritual, that I need, so I can be more intentional with how I manage my time. But I want us
Yeah.
to really pin on time management and share if you have tips. I will start with one, and if you have other tips on how to really manage time. One thing that has worked is time blocking. It is golden.
You know.
Pomodoro, that's the word, a big word for, I don't know, maybe that's the name of the creator. Time blocking is golden. Like, yo, how do you, the amount of things you
It
can
is.
evacuate by just allotting focus time and just staying on business with 25 minutes, phone on airplane mode, nothing distracting you, and just focusing on doing one thing, that is golden. So to me, the time blocking
Yeah.
has been amazing. And I also do focus days. So in the same spirit of time blocking, I also have like focus days once in a while. It's not every other time, but once in a while I try to have focus days where on one day I focus on one specific task. And it's great, especially when I have a big event coming, or a launch for a program or something. I do the focus days method, and it just helps to know, okay, I'm focusing on that. Or when it's tax season, I know I know I have to focus. Yeah. So what other tip do you have as far as time management is concerned? Yeah.
Well, I love the Pomodoro. When you said it, I thought about
Mm-hmm.
it. I actually got to know about it. I think it was in 2020, and it was from a journal, not a journal, a planner that I got. Um, and I just love it. It goes so the way I also
Mm-hmm.
do things is when I decided, okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna work on this task. I take off the distraction. I'll put my
Yeah.
phone on silent or
Yep.
take. Personally, I don't have notifications. None of my applications have notifications, and
Yeah.
that's because I don't want to be distracted to whatever I'm doing, whether it's cooking, whether it's reading or working on a project or something like that. So off the notifications of your phone, because then you
Yeah.
are in control. When the
Can you
notifications are
please
on, they
say that
control you,
again?
and I
Because
don't
I don't
want that
understand how people still have
for myself.
notifications on.
Right? I don't know. I have none, 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 none. Yeah, I don't. And it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Like honestly,
Yeah.
when I say that they control you, that's what it is. Like when a notification comes in, you have this tendency of checking what's going on,
Thank you.
even though you were working on
Turn
something.
off
So
your
yes, guys, please turn
notifications.
off your notifications. Yeah, turn it off. So that's what I do, Kira. When I'm
Mm.
working on something, I also time myself. Like let's
Yeah.
say, and that's something that I had to do even in my business, you know. So when I'm working on a project, I know that sending emails, for example, or reading my emails will take me 30 minutes.
Oh.
What I do is I start the 30 minutes countdown. And by the time it rings, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
done, and I'm like, how much more time can I add? But because I know initially that I have those 30 minutes, I
Yeah.
try to like tackle these emails down in those 30 minutes and not waste time because I don't want the bell to ring while I'm still doing
Yeah,
something that I
I
knew
like
that I could
that.
actually achieve it in 30 minutes. So those are some of the tips that I do to manage my time. It doesn't matter the task that you're doing, even if it's just sweeping the floor or cleaning the house. It's like I'm gonna do this in an hour. I start the timer. Tak, sa tumatakbo.
Yeah, I like that. And you know that. No, that's just a joke, but
Yeah.
when you're doing your cleaning, right? And then you start the timer and in the middle of it I'm pretty sure it doesn't happen to you because you're very
You know.
organized. But me, you're cleaning and all the energy ends up in the middle of the cleaning. So you're like 30 minutes, 1 hour in, and I'm like, why did I even start this? Like, how am I gonna finish?
Uh-huh. So what you're saying, that's the reason why you wanna eat the elephant bite after bite. Like you wanna break it down.
Yeah.
Like you has to be, you said it earlier, authentic and true to yourself. What can I do today? Can I fold this store today? No, I can. So I'm gonna find I'll do it. I guess I'm good at organizing, but girl, I tie. Like I'll put it like in this time and I'm like, when I have when I have time to actually fold this clothes, I will do it. So you just have to be true to yourself and say, this is what I can do today, and the rest I just sweep it
It's
under the bed,
really
and the next
it's
day I'll take it
really
off the bed.
peculiar, like the cleaning up, tidying up, and time. It's a challenge, but it's good. The feeling once you're done, it's exhilarating. It's like, wow, why didn't I do this earlier? So I'll say one last tip
Yeah,
I want to share
this is it.
is the famous productivity quadrant. I think it's the Eisenhower matrix where you have the urgent, non-urgent, important, not important stuff. Um, Unfortunately, many people don't use it. I know people know about it, but many people don't use it. Like when you want to do something, a lot of people function on the first. So you have urgent, non-urgent, important, non-important. So a lot of people function on the urgent and important thing. Like 80% of their time is urgent and it's important. And then
Mhm.
truth is, when you try to analyze it, it is not that important. It is not that urgent, you know. But for example, in work environments, people like to pressurize other and think, I want this by this time. I want this. You have to send me these emails. You have to send the report. And sometimes I'm like, yo, chill. I will do the work. Don't just get on my nerves. That's it. And you put the boundaries so that people know. And truly, with the people I work with, they know that she doesn't take pressure. Like, don't stress me because it's just pointless. I'll not even respond to your stress, first of all. So if you want me to be late on a task, come with your stress. So I'll be intentionally late so that next time you will not come with the stress. So yeah, because people will function with the urgent and
What a
important
way of setting a
mindset.
boundary.
They feel like it's being productive and they feel like everybody has to function in that, you know, quadrant space. But it's
Yeah,
not. Because truth is, by the time you sift things, the
yeah,
so-called urgent, the so-called important are not that important. It's just because of your poor time management and your disorganization. Then you end up having a lot of tasks in the urgent and important thing. But it is not. If you had made proper prioritization, if you had, made proper time
yeah,
management, lots of those tasks maybe need to be automated, maybe need to be delegated, but you want to write every report yourself. You want to start every concept note, like some things. And thank God that we have AI today. I don't know if I should say thank God because I'm also very scared of AI, but we are in the AI age
yeah.
and we're not going back. So some things can be automated with AI. And listen, whether we like it or not, I don't think we will have anything else than AI. We're in the AI era and we have to adapt to it. So, yeah, just use the metrics
Mhm.
and really decide on what you delegate, what you have to schedule, what you have to let go of. Some projects just will never come to life. Deal with it. It's fine. It's fine. Some projects will come to life in 3
Yeah.
months. no matter how much they are hard projects or they matter in your heart. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, I did share and also shared a tip for boundaries for those who work. But is a way to communicate the boundary, not the most efficient, but yeah. So that's it for today. Do you have any final thoughts before we say ciao to our audience?
Time is everything. Honestly, time is everything. If you don't know how to manage your time, it's gonna be difficult for you to thrive in life, and you have to value your time.
Yeah.
Value
Le
your
temps, c'est
time
de la
a
monnaie.
lot. My dad used to say time is money. So time is a treasure that once it has started, you can never get it back. So make the best of the time that you have. Make the best. Let him take time is big. Make the best of the 30 minutes that you have, because you never know the things that can change in 30 minutes, even in 5 minutes. Keira.
Yeah. Mastering purposeful and intentional time management with these final words from Corinne and I, and hope to see you in the next episode. Ciao.
Bye.